The Michigan Tech Huskies are gearing up for another season, and just 2 years removed from the playoffs, the Huskies have a lot of experience back, including 8 starters on offense and 6 on defense. Welcome to Game of the Week Live, presented by Marquette Automotive. We're in Escanaba, where tonight Escanaba is facing off with Gaylord, and joining me right now is the head coach of Escanaba, Dave Howes. So a lot of people here were talking, obviously, about the game, but some people were talking about who would win in a wrestling match between you two guys.
My kids asked that question. I said Coach Graff would break me in half. He's a powerful man. I'm just old and feeble.
The Island Resort Championship at Sweetgrass returns tomorrow with day 2, and right now we've got a tight race at the top with Symetra Tour money leader Madeline Sagstrom right in the thick of things. Good luck tonight.
All right, thank you.
All right, Cynthia, it should be a great game. Of course, we'll have the highlights coming up tonight on the 5th down. That's at 11 Eastern, but for now, back to you in the studio. When building a basketball team, the most important position to fill is point guard. Hailing from Memphis, Tennessee, freshman Naba Eccles is the Wildcats' floor general, and his recruitment was a little different than usual. Leading the Wildcats with over 13 points per game, Naba Eccles is grabbing attention.
Our point guard is going to be good.
Ask his coaches what they think of Naba, and they tell you he's
Dynamic.
So how does a dynamic point guard from Memphis, who led his high school team to 2 state titles, end up in Marquette?
Charles Belt, our assistant coach, went down to a barbecue in Memphis, and someone said, hey, your second cousin's a really good player. Well, we've all heard that story a number of times.
Was basically there for kind of a family reunion. And right away, it was, well, you should check out your cousin, man. You probably want to recruit him. And if you can imagine, I've been told that I have cousins that are good basketball players countless amount of times, even before I was in coaching. And so I kind of just said, okay, yep, all right, I'll follow up on it.
Well, Belt didn't follow up right away, but then, long story short, the Wildcats needed a point guard.
I got a call one day from Coach Belt to find out he was my cousin, and he just let me know how they was rebuilding their program, trying to get back to how it used to be back in the old days. He asked me, would I be okay with that to try to lead the team back to the old days.
The answer was yes, so Eccles passed on 4 Division I offers to join Northern.
I got criticized a lot by coming here, because knowing I could have went Division I, but I felt like it was like a better opportunity to come here because I can play more, and I think I can play my game the way I want to play.
We're relying on him on so many things. He's our leading scorer right now. He's our leading assist. The other part about it is he has to guard the toughest point guard and the toughest player a lot of times in the team, night in and night out.
Eccles and the Wildcats play their final home game of the season tomorrow against Northwood. Daniel Olson was the star of the Ishpeming football team.
Daniel Olson almost sacked, but he shakes the tackle, goes down the left sideline, and he's going to gain about 7 yards.
He received numerous honors and accolades, but he also suffered a very private battle with depression.
My son was struggling for 8 years, and when he came forward and really fought it hard for 3 years, we didn't know anything about it. He didn't know anything about it, and he was the one suffering.
On July 19, 2012, Daniel's pain became too much to bear.
So many people hide it. So many people who are suffering hide it. And then if they do commit suicide early, before they've tried to get help, before their loved ones don't even know anything about it, that's even more tragic.
Following Daniel's passing, the Ishpeming community rallied behind the Olson family and the Hematite football team with the motto, "Do it for Daniel," a motto that fueled the Hematites all the way to the state championship. Now Daniel's story will be shared in the documentary, "Do It for Daniel."
Number one, we'd like to get it in every high school in this country. We want to get it to as many film festivals as we can. Hopefully somebody picks this up, shows it in large market areas where it can help people. People don't know about anxiety, depression, mental illness. We want to be able to define depression.
Jeff Olson hopes Daniel's story will help others dealing with depression and anxiety.
We want people to come forward. We want people to ask for help. Because we knew as a family we hit it because of the stigma. It's very treatable. We want to get that out there, that it's very treatable if people will come forward, but unfortunately people don't come forward. So we want to give people hope.
There's a new basketball tournament coming to Negaunee this weekend, and this isn't a traditional tournament by any means. In fact, it's not normal at all. Welcome to Buffalo Road, the Rucker Park of the Upper Peninsula, home of the inaugural Buffalo Road Invitational, where the pavement isn't flat, grass grows on the court, and the hoops are uneven. But that's just part of the charm.
It's just a really unique place to play basketball. You could always get on here right away. You didn't have to wait for anybody. The hoops aren't exactly at 10 feet. This one's at about 9. This one's about 9.5, which really changes things up as well.
It's very unique. Probably my favorite part of the court is the light switch that we have for playing at night. It lights up one half of the court. You don't find that everywhere. A lot of the lights in the local communities are timed and they turn off at a certain time. Here we can kind of push our limits and play later.
So naturally, it was the perfect place to launch the Buffalo Road Invitational.
I invited 32 of my friends to come play in a basketball tournament, and since then it's really blossomed into a really cool event. We have 22 sponsors from the community. There's 8 teams, 4 players on each team. We're playing 3-on-3.
We just shoot at the start of the game, and whatever team gets it, we play to 11, so that team gets the hoop for the game.
And the uniqueness of the court definitely makes things competitive.
Careful if you dribble. You can have really good ball handling skills on a normal basketball court, but if you come out here, it's totally different.
Everyone's just about the same talent level, no matter how good. We have kids who were played 3-4 years of varsity basketball, and then we also have kids who never played basketball in high school, and it just equalizes everything out.
The games are definitely always competitive, but we have a lot of fun too. It's definitely a fun, unique event, but definitely competitive as well. We want to win.
The Buffalo Road Invitational begins Sunday at noon with the championship game at 7 p.m. in Negaunee.